Shalom. Shalom. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honor unto our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Double honor unto our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who still rule well. Peace and blessing to the hopeful elect of Israel, the house of David, begin with the 144,000. Shalom Yasharala, peace Israel. Welcome to another update. Another update of the MOTB is the CHIP. All right. And today we're going to be reviewing some satire, basically. And I'm going to get the definition of satire. And pretty much, these, articles, if you want to call them that, because, technically they're not articles, but, basically they give you these what if scenarios, it's like, okay, what if this happened in society? All right. Without them saying what if, and it comes off as, humor, it's something that's comical, but you know what? This is deadly serious, man, and you can find a lot of truth in satire. Okay. There's a lot of truth in satire. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read this for you. All right, let me see if I can pull it up on the screen. Give me a second here. And Lord will, you can see it on the screen. All right. Now this is on beaconwells.org. Society split as government mandates biometric microchip implants for all citizens to access healthcare and banking, forcing a brutal choice between high-tech safety and the slow, silent death of human freedom. All right, and this is put up today. Okay, it says, February 23rd, 2026. All right, put up at 11:09 a.m. by Marcel Mark. And once again, this is satire. All right. What is the definition of satire? Satire definition. This is under AI overview. Satire is a genre of literature, art, or performance that uses humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize human vices, follies, abuses, or shortcomings. And ultimately, it exposes the truth. There's a lot of satire that exposes the truth, man, as to what's really going on. Okay. Now it says it is often used to hold up individuals, institutions, or society to contempt in order to provoke thought or inspire change. And this should make you think. It's designed to make you think. Okay. Key components and characteristics. The purpose. Rather than just making people laugh, satire is generally constructive. It uses wit, which wit goes into knowledge, wisdom. Okay. It uses wit to call attention to and potentially correct perceived flaws in society or human behavior. So in other words, when you look at this satire concerning the MOTB, It's supposed to inspire you to think so you can, put a stop to it. But it doesn't matter how many people wake up, you're not going to put a stop to it because it's Bible prophecy. The only thing you could do within your person is to deny it, to not take it. Okay? This should inspire you to think about it so you know not to take it. How serious it is. But satire, it makes you think of, certain comedy specials. Okay? People tell the truth when they're doing comedy. Certain stand-ups or particular TV shows that are comical. It's not only funny, it tells you the truth. Okay? Okay, so let's read purpose again. Let's read purpose, techniques, and target. And that'll be enough. Okay? Rather than just making people laugh, satire is generally constructive. It uses wit, which means knowledge, information, to call attention to and potentially correct perceived flaws in society or human behavior. Because Esau Edom gonna mandate that mark very soon, So, satire, in this case, dealing with this article here, it should call attention to this, Techniques. Satirists use a variety of tools, including irony, saying one thing but meaning the opposite, sarcasm, parody, imitating for comic effect, hyperbole, exaggeration, or juxtaposition, if I'm saying it correctly. Now, target, it says satire often punches up, targeting figures of power. Right, because the wicked leader Edom, they're going to push that chip very soon. Okay? They're going to push it. Satire often punches up because it's aimed at the powers that be, targeting figures of power, politicians, corporations, institutions, rather than marginalized groups. Okay? So that's the point on that, So once again, this is satire, but there's a lot of truth here. So let's read this, because this hasn't happened yet, but it's gonna happen. So this person right here, Marcel, Mark, they're on to something, and maybe they be watching us, whoever this is. Maybe this person watches us. All right. So once again, this is on beaconwells.org. Society split as government mandates biometric microchip implants for all citizens to access healthcare and banking, forcing a brutal choice. You're going to have to make a choice between high-tech safety and the slow, silent death of human freedom. All right. And they have a lot of advertisements on this, But we're going to read this article. The nurse doesn't look at Marta's face when she asks for her wrists. And this is going to be in the future. You have to pay with your hand. Okay? They both know why she's here. Not for the flu shot, not for a checkup, but for the grain of rice-sized microchip that will decide whether her son gets antibiotics next winter. Yeah, because, it's going to pertain to healthcare, man. For your well-being, the well-being of your family, okay? If they're on certain medication, they're going to be denied access. So what we're involved in is totally based off of faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to get us through this time. So let's read that again. The nurse doesn't look at Marta's face when she asks for her wrist. They both know why she's here. Not for the flu shot, not for a checkup. Oh yeah, hey, she's getting it done by a nurse, right? See a lot of these, hospitals, and we'll see exactly how it happens, But a lot of these hospitals and we believe, these concentration camps, they're gonna be used to inject that microchip in people, man. But we'll see ultimately. But you may get it done at a hospital. All right. So it says the nurse doesn't look at Marta's face when she asks for her wrist. They both know why she's here. Not for the flu shot, not for a checkup, but for the grain of rice sized microchip that would decide whether her son gets antibiotics next winter. All right. Scroll down. Outside the clinic. Yeah, and it may be done at a clinic, a hospital, etc. Outside the clinic, a small crowd chants, "We are not barcodes." Police hover nearby, mute silhouettes in black uniforms. Inside, the air smells like disinfected and quiet fear. But yeah, there's going to be resistance, but that resistance is going to be put down, man. As far as people that's protesting against it. Now you could say we're resistance too, but we're not going to be out here protesting. We're just not going to take it. Lord willing, how about Shemal Shai, keep the spirit on us, because the plan is to not take it. But there's going to be different resistance out here. Certain Christians, certain patriots. When I say Christians, I'm talking about, you got people in the Bible Belt that understand certain biblical prophecy. Okay. Once again, certain, patriots, and you think about, Southern Edomites, where there's a lot of Jake among them, in the South, in the Midwest. They understand what the MOTB is. They're that resistance, that's going to be out here, protesting and, you name it. And they show you that in different movies too. There's always this outside group that's against the new system. There's always this underground world of people that oppose that new world. All right. Now it says, on the wall, a bright poster reads, "Your chip, your security. Your chip, your security. Access healthcare and banking in one painless step." That's how it's going to be. And it says access healthcare and banking. You're going to need the mark in order to bank. Okay? For your living, pretty much. Because you need a bank account in order to function in this man's world properly. It makes it very convenient when it comes to paying your bills. And you got some Jake, they know how to maneuver, you could say, without a bank account. You got a few Jake out there like that. But it's still a lot of hassle they have to go through. See, Esau Edom has set this society up for convenience, man. That's why the majority of people have a damn bank account. There's a great portion of people that have health care, health insurance. And even right now, Trump is pretty much, denying people certain health care benefits, making it more difficult on you, because the way things are headed is headed towards the mark, man. They want to put you people in straits, put that pressure on you to influence you to take the mark, to make you feel as if you don't have any other option, because they're making life, more harder for you. So let's read this again. On the wall, a bright poster reads, "Your chip, your security." And once again, this is satire. All right. But this is going to happen though. Access healthcare and banking in one painless step. And there's going to be advertisements, out there for the charagma. All types of signs and posters. They're going to be doing that. The slogan feels oddly cheerful for something that could redraw the boundary between citizen and subject. Yeah, because you're going to be a slave if you take it. A permanent slave. Marta hesitates a second too long. The nurse sighs. Ma'am, without the chip, your health card expires next month. So does your bank account, or so does your bank access. Excuse me. Let me read that again. Let's read that again. Marta hesitates a second too long. The nurse sighs. Ma'am, without the chip, your health card expires next month. So does your bank access. Now let's jump down here. When your body becomes your password. And see, this is the future that they want. This is the future that they want, bro. We all got these damn cell phones, get goddamn smartphone. You have a password to be able to access the phone. What's inside the phone? Well, your body is going to become the password if you have the mark. All right. And the hopeful elect not going to take that mark. But we have to keep going over this. We have to keep reviewing this information because of the seriousness of the prophecy, man. The seriousness of the prophecy. Esau, Edom is literally going to cause all. Mandate everyone. So this is satire, yeah, but really this shit is real, man. It's real. When your body becomes your password, the first time people queued to get chipped, what Apostle Tahar said years ago, get hip to the chip. The first time people queued to get chipped, the line looked like a new iPhone launch. Woo! And people love them damn iPhones, boy. And these smartphones, period. You have some people that like the Androids, then some of us got Androids, but you have a lot of people that love those iPhones. And I want to say dealing with the iPhone is more secure. That's one of the major benefits of an iPhone, because if you forget your password, that bitch really gonna lock up on you to protect your information. These Androids don't do it, like the iPhone does when it comes to that, when it comes to security, but people really like the features dealing with the iPhone, But anyway, when you think about, the latest iPhone coming out, the newest one, people have to have the newest one. That's how people are going to be lining up to get the charagma. You're going to be the damn iPhone. Once they put that in you, you're going to be the damn iPhone, man. So let's read this again. The first time people queued to get chipped, the line looked like a new iPhone launch. Curious, a bit excited, with that nervous smile we wear when the future shows up earlier than expected. And that's the thing about it. This thing is coming quick, man. It's already here. But very soon it's really going to, fully be here. Scriptures say, Revelation 12:12, towards the end of that scripture, the devils come down with great wrath, knowing that he have but a short time. So they're looking to speed this thing up, man. There were influencers live streaming the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. When the charagma made mandatory, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. There were influencers. You may have this nigga here, Anton Daniels. He may be one of them. Anton Davis, maybe one of the influencers, live streaming when the Quran was made mandatory, man. But who knows, you know? All these different influencers. There were influencers live streaming the moment, tech geeks explaining encryption, grandparents asking if it would hurt. And see, really, you have to be ready to check everybody off, man. And by that I mean you got to be ready to let everybody go. Because our grandparents may take the mark. A lot of them are going to take the mark. So long, granddaddy. So long, grandma. See you in the kingdom, you know? They're not a part of the elect. They're not a part of the elect. If they take it, but a lot of our grandparents, they're caught up in that plantation Christianity. You had niggas like hey, this nigga here. He called himself an apostle. Geno Jennings. He may be one of those guys that promote the MOTB. So you already know your grandma gonna take the mark. You know, some of our grandmas, they actually watch that nigga, man. You know, hooping and hollering because he got the holy demon. You know, that dude was acting like he was speaking in tongues, man. Now he got the one nigga with the glasses that be doing that shit, you know, and it's a very unclean spirit, man. Hey, them guys got demons on them. Talking about Apostle Geno Jennings and that one dude that be reading for him. You know, there was a video that the elder brother Manat Zakba had shared not too long ago. Them niggas was running throughout the church, man, claiming they speaking in tongues. Both of them, Geno Jennings and the one guy with the glasses. Who you know, just like, man, what? Crazy as hell, man. You know. But once again, be ready to write people off, man. You'll see them in the kingdom, you know. You know to not take the mark. A few months later, the mood had changed. Not because the chips failed, but because they worked too well. You're talking about this is going to be a very high-functioning society when the MOTB is implemented. This is why scriptures say it's going to be as the days of Noah. The days of Lot. It's going to be a functioning society, man. You know? The MOTB being implemented in this new society is to bring about a sense of normalcy again, man. You know, to bring normalcy back, to bring some sense of you know, the good old days back, so to speak. So let's keep reading. Swiping your wrist to pay for groceries. Hey, this is coming, brothers. And you few amount of sisters. This is coming. Swiping your wrist to pay for groceries or check into a clinic felt seductively easy. The convenience. Okay. Oh, what that one guy, the one philosopher, Aldous Huxley, in his speech at UC Berkeley, he was like, they're training you to love your servitude. And how do they do that? By convenience. Convenience. It's too easy, man. Swiping your wrist to pay for groceries, or you could just walk out. You know, they got that one IBM commercial. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. A lot of y'all have seen it, you know. IBM Mark of the Beast commercial. Now here it is. Here, this is put up 15 years ago. Now, by him grabbing things, he's grabbing them so quickly, he comes off like he's stealing, right? Let's rewind it. You think this guy's stealing, but really he has the mark, man. He has the MOTB. You see that? He got scanned. Hey, you know what? Think about that. I don't know if to call it an arch, but basically it's in Sam's Club. You know, his brother could put up the exact, wording for that. You know, but they have something similar, like what you see right here. You know, it's like a it's like a huge door frame, pretty much. You know, you come through it on one side, and you exit on the other side. You enter through one side, you exit on the other side. But pretty much, they're setting the stage for the MOTB, man. Really, really, the stage is set, you know. But look at this. That guy, he picked up all those items, and you would have thought he was stealing. But really, he has the mark. You see the security guard right behind him. You know, if you saw this commercial for the first time, you would think the security guard about to, tackle the guy, arrest him. You'll think he's going to apprehend him. But let's see what happens instead.
Excuse me, sir. Forgot your receipt.
He didn't need the receipt, really. He has the mark, man. You know, and you saw that he was scanned. You know, the only reason security stopped him because he wanted to give him a damn receipt, but his items were already paid for. You know. See that? Well, you know what? The brother said it's a sensor, and Lord will I could put up the exact information, but it's that doorway looking arch in Sam's Club, man. You know. For those y'all that shop at Sam's Club, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we're pretty much here. You know, not too long ago, I went to one of the Walmarts down here in Jackson. All right, it's the Walmart off of Highway 18. Okay, and well, it's near Highway 18. Put it that way. Technically, it's on Greenway. Greenway Drive. But basically, they made it to where you really got to deal with self-checkout now. You know. Now they still have the registers with the cashiers, but they made it so inconvenient. You know, they installed these self-checkouts. That's the most popular way to shop now, for lack of better words. They make it to where you're forced to do the self-checkout. You know, they pretty much got most of the employees that are cashiers doing something else. You know, you're forced to take care of it yourself, man. But even with self-checkouts, it's still, convenient. You don't need a cashier, So pretty much we here, man. Just like Jake said right here. If it's Jake, you got a funny name, Friday 13th. You know. And he said, and this was 20 years ago, and how much more now? Yeah, because this video that you see on the screen, it said 15 years ago, but it could be 20. But like you said, we are here now. And that's true. But yeah, as far as what I mentioned with the Sam's Club, if you have more information about it, any brother on the comment board, if you could put up some information, I'll read it, But yeah, it's like into a sensor. Pretty much, it's right at the door. It's right it's right at the entrance, pretty much, of Sam's Club, But it's like unto this right here, what this man is walking out of, man. I'm gonna show this one more time. You saw him pick up all those items, and now he's leaving. There we go. There we go. All right, so let's go back to this satire here. Swiping your wrist to pay for groceries. And in some cases, you don't have to, just like that man in the IBM commercial. Or checking to a clinic felt seductively easy. No cards to lose, no passwords to forget, no waiting room paperwork, just a beep, a green light, and you move on with your day. That's simple. And the thing about it as well, there's a lot of people that's waking up to the MOTB chip. So Esau Edom, he has to cover his tracks, man. Case in point, you have the Amazon one that was at Whole Foods. Well, I'll say, let me type this in. Whole Foods. Palm Pay. Canceled. Amazon is removing its Amazon One palm scanning payment system from all Whole Foods locations by June 3rd, 2026, due to limited customer adoption. Why? Because people see what's going on. They understand this gradualism. But I'm going to say this, just because people waking up, and they're not down with this this totalitarian system that's being introduced, it still doesn't hinder it from happening. It's not going to stop biblical prophecy. It's still coming. The technology which allowed for contactless biometric payment will be fully discontinued, and associated customer data will be deleted. So really, Esau Edom just has to do something drastic. In the words of the Zakwana Yashamath, Esau Edom got to do something drastic. And you know what? It's just going to be the MOTB. He's tired of playing games with you people, man. It's going to come to a point where, boom, it's the chip. They were talking about, what was that? They were going to do the Amerigo coin. Amerigo coin, you're gonna have the real ID, which is pretty much on your license now. Your license is a real ID, has that star on it. But see, Esau Edom just got to go right to the Quran, man. Just give me a second here, Baba Kusha. Let me fact check something. Babakwa Shah. Because you had America, Canada, but it was a particular coin. And if the spirit will, man, spirit bring it back. Now I said Amerigo Salaka really is something else. But basically it dealt with America, Canada. All right. It was a particular coin they were talking about, bringing out. And then they were speaking about, the real ID. So much information has came out in the earlier years dealing with how they want to, introduce the MOTB. But now we're at a point of prophecy. They just got to go right into it, man. They just got to go right into it. Yes, Salaki. What I'll do, I'll just have to do some more research and find that it's old information. Really it's older information. All right. Yeah, that's right, brother. At the water. Now, dealing with Sam's Club, the brother has said pay and head out with scan and go. Check out at a register or self-checkout. Right. And it says exit the club through the arches. And that's the point. That's why I showed this clip here. Pull it back up. You see the example here. Yeah, he's exiting through the arch. It's just totally demonic, man. It's like you going through a demonic portal. You know what I'm saying? This is some satanic shit, man. This is some evil technology, man. But it has to happen. It has to happen, man. Hey, the water for the information, brother. The water for that. But yeah, man. Like I said, I'll pull up the article again for you. Technically not an article. It's satire, okay? But it's still gonna happen. This is gonna happen, bro. So let's continue here. Convenience settled into people's lives like warm lighting in a new apartment. And with it came something quieter, harder to name. In one city, which remember these cities are going to be smart cities. Smart cities, 15-minute cities. Basically, prisons. It's a digital prison, man. And all these different totalitarian futuristic movies, they show you the world that they want to bring. Okay, these different dystopian films, that's the word I was looking for. These dystopian, movies, they show you the world that they want. Okay? And the Lord is going to allow them to have it for a little while. A very little while. It's not going to be that long, But yeah, man. In one city, a cashier noticed the first change. Or the change first. Let me read that again. In one city, a cashier noticed the change first. She watched regulars stop fumbling for wallets. The line sped up. Conversations shortened. And those who still paid in cash started getting side eyes from impatient customers. And there's not even going to, there's not going to be an inkling of this. Everyone's going to have the mark or they're not going to have it. It's going to be that simple. People that's up in these stores, they're going to have the mark. People that don't have it, you're not going to be able to use cash. With this new system Esau Edom setting up, you got to be all in. If you don't have the mark, access denied. It's that simple. So there's not gonna be any people fumbling for cash. But people that don't have the mark will be considered, old fashioned, outdated. Essentially, you're gonna be left behind, because it's gonna be the way of the world now. The MOTB is gonna be the way of the world. And this world is heading for destruction. All right. Esau world. Then the first refusal happened. An old man tried to pay for his heart medication with a crumbled bill. The terminal flashes red, chip only. The pharmacist said, embarrassed, glancing at the security camera in the corner. The man's hands shook. He didn't shout. He just left the pills on the counter and walked out into the rain because he couldn't pay for them because he didn't have a mark. He didn't have a mark. Once again, this is satire, but this is the world that's coming. We got the definition of satire. Satire is a genre of literature, art, or performance that uses humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize human vices, follies, abuses, or shortcomings. It is often used to hold up individuals, institutions, or society to contempt in order to provoke thought or inspire change. And really, it's not going to change anything. The majority of people are going to take the mark. As much as you have certain satire and, various information coming out, all these news articles, the MOTB is in the local news now, international news, we can show you how they put the mark in all these movies. It doesn't damn matter, man. People still going to take it because they want to live, they're going to still want to operate in Esau's world, Well, let's read that again, man. It's like, man, damn. If you don't have a mark, you're through. According to this world. Now, the elect of Yahweh Shem Yahushai are going to have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And you're going to be all right when you don't take the mark. So let's read this. The first refusal happened. An old man tried to pay for his heart medication with a crumbled bill. The terminal flashes red. Chip only. And you can envision it, like you can see something like that happening. The pharmacist said, embarrassed, glancing at the security camera in the corner. The man's hands shook. He didn't shout. You can tell, hey, a person frustrated, you can't get your heart medication. He just left the pills on the counter and walked out into the rain. You're catching hell, man. By the time his story went viral that night, the comments were already split. Half called the policy inhuman. The other half said bluntly, he should just get the chip like everyone else. People gonna be talking like that. He should just get the chip like everyone else. Yeah. This is how control usually arrives. Not with soldiers breaking down doors, but with terms and conditions nobody reads and upgrades nobody wants to be left out of. Right, man? Which it was a lesser luminary that made a point a while back when I was listening to talk radio. People are entering the New World Order with a blindfold over their face instead of a gun to their head. Once again, people are choosing their enslavement, man. Like Aldous Huxley said, you're being trained to love your servitude. People don't want to let this shit go, bro. Hey, you look at this society, people not ready to let this go. You saw that with the whole 2020 situation. The C-19. Okay? People fought to get this back. Where we are now. It's going to be the same thing when it comes to the mark. This is how control usually arrives. not with soldiers breaking down doors, but with terms and conditions nobody reads and upgrades nobody wants to be left out of. The government didn't say we own your body now. It said for your security and to fight fraud, we'll unify your data. And there's a one quote, if brother can find it, Baba Shah, and I forget who made the quote or that saying. It's something along the lines of you need to beware when your government says we're here to help you. I'm probably butchering it right now, but basically that's the worst thing you could do. When your government says they're here to help you, that's really a red flag. They're there to further subjugate you, take away more of your rights. The worst words you can hear, we are here to help. Health records, banking identity, travel history, social benefits, all locked behind one biometric microchip, a perfect key and a perfect lock. The interconnection of things, the internet of things, but everything's going to be interconnected, man. Everything about you is going to be on these, on the mark, On paper, the logic looked airtight. Less fraud, faster public services, lower admin costs, better emergency response, no forgotten cards, no stolen IDs, no fake claims. The real tension lives in the gap between the promise and the power. And who has the power right now? Esau, Edom. And you damn sure know they don't keep their promises, man. Look what they did with Gad, the tribe of Gad, so-called North American Indians. This goddamn devil, Esau, Edom, broke over 500 treaties, man. So they don't keep their promise, They don't keep their promise, man. This man broke over 500 treaties. Scriptures say the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, man. His words were smoother than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Esau doesn't keep his word. And scriptures say he was a murderer from the beginning and a bold not in the truth. Talking about Cain. But Cain, in Esau, it's the same spirit. First murderer, first liar, first murderer, first liar, first murderer, first sellout. The serpent, Cain, and Esau. The big three. The devil, man. All right? And they hold the power, and their promises don't mean anything, man. Because once access to your most basic rights runs through a chip under your skin, whoever controls that system doesn't just run a database, they sit between you and your life. They're your God, man. That's why a spirit is on us to be so adamant speaking about this. Don't take the mark. Okay? This prophecy is epic, man. It's epic. All right, and it says the brutal trade, safety, or a slower kind of suffocation. To understand how harsh this trade feels, yeah, because you're trading yourself. your humanity. To understand how harsh this trade feels, picture a simple day. You wake up, wave your wrist at the door lock, and you got people doing that now, using the charagma to unlock doors, you know, start their car, have access to a computer, access to a security building, access to gym, access to train, use it as a e-ticket. You wake up, wave your wrist at the door lock, step into the hallway. The bus scans your chip as you board. Yeah, man, and you have a lot of these inner cities in America. People can use their debit card, to board a bus. And some buses still take cash. I know the bus that I operate, it takes paper money, But see, this new system is gonna change everything, man. And I don't plan on working when this is introduced. When they bring this, I don't plan on driving a damn bus, But it says the bus scans your charagma as you board. Okay? Your smartwatch syncs your blood pressure to your health record. It's all connected. Ubiquitous. Your coffee place, your coffee shop, Starbucks or whatever, bills you with a subtle beep when you leave your latte. That charagma gonna be the end all be all, man. Then one morning, the beep turns red. Your banking app won't open. The clinic kiosk refuses your appointment. The pharmacy says your insurance status is under review. And that's the thing about it. Edom can just shut all your shit down. See, people that take the charagma, they think they're going to be doing better or they're going to be well off than people that don't take it. You're going to be in a worse position. Because you give up everything to buy into this new system, and then they can turn around and deny you access to everything. Control. It's all about control. You didn't change anything. Maybe you shared a protest article. And to Wadi, how about Shemel Shai? Because I had I saw a video a while back, and I actually had I posted it. There was this animation that dealt with the mark. Lord, will I could find the video. Man, Lord, will I could find the video, bro. Lord Will is still on my channel. I'm not sure who did the video, but it's very similar to this information right here. Basically, if you do anything that the shadow government disagrees with, because they're going to have all the information about you. They're going to know where you're at all times. And everyone's going to be connected because of this new system. Pretty much there's going to be no privacy at all. Everyone is going to be able to, you can say, keep up with everyone. When keeping up with the Joneses is a real thing, you're going to know what's going on with everybody, But you can do something that's not pleasing to the powers that be, and they can just deny you, just like that. You're cut off, socially and economically cut off. All right, they put your ass under review. Freeze your account, man. You didn't change anything. Maybe you shared a protest article, missed a paperwork deadline, or your data triggered a mysterious anomaly flag. You're not in prison. You're just locked out of almost everything that keeps your life functional. That's a softer kind of punishment, but no less real. And that's going to drive people crazy, man. In one suburb, a microchip pilot zone has already become a social lab. Residents who accepted the implant report almost zero friction in daily life. They glide. Their medical histories pop up instantly at the clinic. Their loan applications process in hours. Their kids' school registrations autofill in 5 seconds flat. Yeah, so certain people gonna have that charagma. They're gonna be living good, you know. But people are still gonna have to deal with this social credit system. You know, if you do well, you know they're gonna reward your good behavior. If you do bad, you're gonna be denied, man. It's that simple, you know. Down the hill, a handful of families refused. At first, nothing changed. Then came the little delays, extra forms at the hospital, manual ID checks at the bank, additional verification for unemployment benefits. Technically, nobody is denied care of money. Technically, nobody is denied care or money. Realistically, the message is clear. You are choosing to suffer. And that's how it's going to be for people that deny the mark. If you don't take the MOTB, you're choosing to suffer, but that's okay. Yahweh Shai had told us, he that love his life shall lose it. Okay? And he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. You hate your life if you don't take the mark. People that seeking to save their life, they love their life in this world, they're going to take the mark so they don't suffer. Over time, friends stopped inviting them out because you're not in the club. You don't have a chip, or your chip isn't working. You know, it's not working. Over time, friends stopped inviting them out. Restaurants in the zone quietly switched to chip-only payment after a tax incentive. The refusers didn't get officially banned because that door is open. So for people that didn't take the mark, you can still take it. You know? And people that have messed up, you can get on the right track so they'll reward your good behavior. They just saw their world get slightly smaller every month. People gonna want that normalcy back, man. What makes this moment so tense is that both sides feel they're defending survival. Supporters see the microchip as a armor, as armor in a chaotic world. Yeah, because see, it's going to be used to restore order. After all the chaos, it's going to be used as some type of savior, man. You know, and like it says right here, it's going to be used as armor to protect you from the shit that's going on. But it's not going to protect you from Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. If you take the mark, you're going to be destroyed, man. Less identity theft, faster emergency interventions, smoother economic life. For them, not adopting the technology looks irresponsible. That's what they're going to say about us. We look irresponsible if we don't take the mark. Almost selfish. You only think about yourself. What about society? What about mankind? What about saving the earth? The irony of this damn devil, man. You destroying the earth. But they're going to push the charagma like it's good for the planet, man. You don't call you selfish because you didn't take it. Like refusing a you know what, a vax. So like I shouldn't even have said that. My bad. Lord will, they don't hit the video, you know. Lord will, they don't hit the video. Like refusing a V during an epidemic. And it's crazy, man. Like you can't even say certain shit on YouTube. Here it is. You know, it's certain videos on YouTube. It's like light corn. You know the word I want to say. PORN. You know, it's like light PORN. and that shit can stay up on YouTube. But we'll say certain words, and it'll trigger a damn algorithm. Next thing you know, our videos are taken down, man. But that's okay, you know. Now it says opponents aren't fantasizing about going off grid, which, you know what, we are. You know, hey, we're happy to you know, to experience what the Heavenly Father wants us to experience. Because you got to be ready to be off the grid, you know, by not taking the mark. That's going to be our lifestyle, man. You know, but it's talking about, you know, for those that are pretty much leaning towards getting the mark, you know. Most of them have smartphones, online banking, streaming subscriptions. They're not anti-tech by default. What they fear is a point of no return, where dissent becomes economically suicidal. And that's how it's going to be for the individuals that take the mark. You take the mark. It's a point of no return, man. And as we tell you through the Spirit, as the scriptures tell you, really, okay, as the Bible tells you, there's no repentance for taking the mark. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Heavenly Father. You know, once your freedom can be throttled with a software update, freedom stops feeling like a right and starts looking like a subscription model. The plain truth is this: very few people calmly choose poverty and bureaucracy over comfort and speed. The very few people talking about the elect, man. You know? And when it comes to this moment, there's really nothing you can do to stop it. Only thing you can do is not take it, man. Now the rest of this you know, satire article, this satire article is good, you know. You know, it's edifying, but I believe we got enough for right now. Okay? But this thing is here, man. It's here. You know? Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 in the Amplified Bible. Also, he compels all, the small and the great, and the rich and the poor, and the free men and the slaves, to be given a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, signifying allegiance to the beast. That's it. And it's a very real thing, man. So once again, this is satire, but this is very real. Okay? It's very real, man. Okay? So with that, we're going to be back with more videos, Lord willing, dealing with the MOTB. I pray you were edified. I want to say, Call Halayullah, Allahayinawa, Abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai. Call Halayullah, Allahayinawa, Abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai. Call Halayullah, Allahayinawa, Abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai. Ba'ashim Rakah Hakwadash. I want to give double honor unto our elder apostles and elder bishops, Great Millstone, who still rule well. Peace and blessing to the hopeful elect Israel, the house of David, beginning with the 144,000. So next lesson, I'm going to say, Shalom.